G'day battlers, and today we're going to be going into the Flying Cup that is coming to Go Battle League on Go Battle Night on September 24th, 6 PM to midnight local time. So that was supposed to happen this season, both the Flying Cup and Go Battle Night, maybe, I think. But anyway, it's all happening next season in Go Battle League, so I guess we'll start fresh, and it is going to be a Great League one, so I guess it's going to be there at the same time as the Great League too. So yeah, and as part of the Go Battle Night, you'll be able to do 20 full sets of Go Battle League battles instead of the normal 5 sets. So you'll be able to do 100 battles total. So you can do 100 battles off the Flying Cup, basically, max, or you can just do regular Great League instead, if you want to do your full 100 anyway. But yeah, you'll also receive twice the starter sporting battles, 20 sets of battles, and ranking up in the Go Battle League. So yeah, also, if you evolve Pidgeotto during the 6-hour window, you'll get a Pidgeot with Gust. It's not going to be useful for the Flying Cup, because, I mean, you really want to be doing damage that's going to be super effective to other Flying types. Gust, that ain't it. So yeah, Pidgeot, pretty useless for the Flying Cup, but we will get into all of that as soon as you subscribe, because we're all waiting. Have you hit it? Yeah, okay, we're good. Let's just get into the Flying Cup meta. So this is the Flying Cup meta simplified, and if you have heard anything about the Flying Cup so far, it's probably the fact that Aerodactyl is overpowered. So Aerodactyl has Rock Throw, it's going to be super effective to every other flying type, and its Rock Flying type doesn't really harm it either. So I do actually have more arrows on this infographic coming out of Skarmory than Aerodactyl. We'll talk all about that in this video, as well as at the end, we're going to be talking about what would happen if you take Aerodactyl out of this meta. So yeah, definitely stick around for that. And let's just start with Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl, again, it's doing rock damage. It's going to be beating the Altaria, the Articuno in the bottom right, and the electric types in the bottom left. And it has two main counters, those being Skarmory in the bottom and Gligar in the top left. And they're not the best counters. They're not like hard countering by any means. They're kind of close wins. They just win in the one shield versus one shield PvPoke simulation. So it's still a little rough. I mean, Aerodactyl has a 100 PvPoke rating for this cup, and it's for pretty good reason. It's still doing masses of damage to that Skarmory and the Gligar, so you can eke out a win. But Aerodactyl is just something that you're going to have to probably beat by committee a little bit. So kind of do some damage with multiple Pokemon. If you get a bad lead up against Aerodactyl, then yeah, you might just have to go down. Maybe you can lead with Articuno, get some Icy Winds off and bring it down. I don't know. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. But that's kind of Aerodactyl. There's nothing too special about it. We're going to move along to a more simple one, Altaria. Altaria doesn't have any moves that are like, you know, doing heaps of damage to flying types. But what Altaria does have is Dragon Breath. And Dragon Breath, as we know from just PvP in general, is just an oppressive move. Does so much damage. It's beating that Gligar and also beating the electric types in the bottom left. And then it's going to be losing to the Aerodactyl, losing to Articuno because it is very weak to ice damage, and then also going to be losing to the Skarmory. So, as I said, pretty simple. Altaria is Altaria. We've all used it before. It does its stuff. So then we've got Articuno at the bottom right there. So Articuno, you can use regular Articuno or Shadow Articuno. You know, I'm going to be kind of focusing on the normal Articuno here, but the matchups are basically the same anyway. But Articuno going to be beating the Altaria, and that is the only arrow that I have on this infographic. And that's because that's not the only one. Gligar's kind of in a similar boat. There's not that many arrows coming off. I mean, I get Gligar's mainly on this graphic because it does beat Aerodactyl. But Articuno is kind of beating the other stuff that is less used. So there's actually other Dragon Breath users that are also usable in this cup, like Dragonite. So, you know, it's also going to be beating all of those sort of that dragon slot. But yeah, it just kind of does damage to a bunch of other stuff that isn't in this main core of 6 big Pokemon in the middle. And also the fact that it has Icy Wind just means that you're going to be able to maybe flip some matchups. So maybe you'll be able to, again, take over that Aerodactyl matchup by throwing it in an Icy Wind, and then maybe something else is going to be able to come in and take out the Aerodactyl that maybe wouldn't have otherwise. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But then moving on to that Skarmory. So yeah, Skarmory is the guy that has 4 arrows coming off instead of Aerodactyl's 3. So Skarmory's beating that Gligar, Aerodactyl, Altaria, and Articuno, and then just losing to those electric types. So the electric types are actually also pretty big in this cup. I feel like the arrows don't do it justice, but they're pretty impressive. So they're definitely going to be around, and Skarmory's going to have to watch out for that. Skarmory is kind of interesting because it also doesn't have any moves that are like super effective to flying types, like Articuno's ice or that electric damage or the rock damage from Aerodactyl. It kind of just, Skarmory's a good Pokemon. Like, it's got a good typing, still flying, it resists a lot of stuff. It can just kind of take a lot of hits, do add enough damage. It's got Brave Bird now, so it can actually do even more flying damage, which isn't really going to be resisted too much around. So yeah, it kind of just does damage. It just kind of adds up over time, and it can beat Aerodactyl, so that's already a massive win. Plus it can beat Gligar, which is like the other Aerodactyl counter, so I feel like more people are going to be leaning towards this Skarmory than Gligar, so probably expect Aerodactyl, Skarmory, and then maybe an electric type. But yeah, the electric types, I've got it back and forth arrow with the Gligar, because Gligar beats Emolga, but Zapdos beats Gligar, so that's just, you know, something to keep in mind. And then the electric types are also going to beat Skarmory, as we said before, and then also beating the Articuno over on the right. So, I mean, really, that's kind of the entire Flying Cup meta simplified. There's, you know, a bunch of other stuff. So there's Togetic, like Togetic, not Togekiss. Togetic actually pops up using Hidden Power Rock. So if you happen to have a Togetic with Hidden Power Rock, it's like in the top 10 ranked in PvPoke, so you could use that as well. It's an option, something to look at, but, you know, how many people are going to have that, I'm not too sure. You can, I mean, I have a lot of Togepi's for like that hidden power reason. I'm a bit of a hidden power collector just in case one of these situations came up, so I have to check if I could maybe have a rock Togetic hidden power dude, but we'll just have to wait and see on that front. But yeah, you know, it's kind of a small meta. Obviously this is only going to be available for 6 hours, so it doesn't need to be the best of the best. But what does happen if you take out Aerodactyl? So as you can see here, this is the PvPoke simulation. This is before PvPoke actually put out the official rankings, so you know, this is just the simple custom meta, put in flying types, and this is what it spits out. So maybe PvPoke Matt has done some refreshes and it kind of brings it down to 98 or something, but on that just first go, Aerodactyl is at 100, which basically means that it is the king of this meta, especially looking at a gap between just Aerodactyl and number 2. It's pretty significant. So your first thought is maybe like, okay, do the Flying Cup, but take out Aerodactyl. Seems reasonable enough. But then you have this. And this just kind of moves the goalpost. Now, Zapdos is the 100 Pokemon. Emolga's there at number 2 as well, at 92.6, which is still pretty massive. And then there's only 6 Pokemon above 80. And you know, you kind of want a bunch of Pokemon above the 80 to have kind of a balanced meta. And yeah, it's electric types and Articuno, and that is it. So this is obviously still not the best, so why don't we take out Zapdos? And this is what happens if we take out Zapdos. We've got Emolga at 100, everything else below. Okay, so what if we take out Emolga? And yeah, you kind of get the picture. It's just moving it to new Pokemon that have to put in a whole bunch of bands to end up with something that kind of resembles a really balanced meta. So yeah, again, this is only going to be around for 6 hours. There's not some cup that's going to be around like Premier Cup for the entirety of the Great League. So, you know, have some fun with it. Don't get too up in Niantic's face, like, oh, this is such an unbalanced meta, I can't believe you've done this, you know. Do it if you want to do it, don't if you don't. And yeah, that is my Flying Cup Meta Simplified infographic. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. It has been a little bit since I put out a video, and that's because I'm kind of just waiting for Sylph to announce the Players Cup meta, so that is going to be coming soon, and then we're going to be hitting the ground running on this content train, so expect so much content to be coming at you. As soon as that happens. So yeah, thank you to my patrons, Melton1458, brajSF, -Ben10, Not Newman, and Yahwertle, and SqeakyNL for supporting the channel. And thank you to the people on Twitch, 30 people for making that emote, Brady44 Maze for the 550 subs, and Oscalicious for the sub. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.